I want to bring to your attention today a very disturbing development in the nation called Kenya. Oh, this is so disturbing. It has haunted me for hours since I first became familiar with the details of this particular case. And it is the story of a young Kenyan writer, an author up and coming, called Moses Asula Libendi. This young Gen Z writer vanished on August 5th this year, 2025, about 10 days ago, and he has never been seen since. His family have tried to appeal to the security boys for assistance, but they have not gotten help up to this point. The man just vanished off the face of the earth. Of course, knowing William Samoei Ruto's Kenya, you know that this is the work of the Subaru boys. But what is so disturbing about this case? I will tell you, and you will be horrified. Karibu sana to my show today, and you'll forgive me because I'll not tell you enjoy it. No, because this is a very, very sad story. So sad. Yani Kenya hapa ndo tumefika. Now, this particular very sad case of Moses Asula Libendi is not only extremely disturbing, but it gives us insights, very valuable, very super fascinating insights into these people who are behind these abductions, that have reigned terror on the nation called Kenya ever since the government, the regime of William Samoei Ruto took power. Okay? It is a very clear demonstration of how they operate. The impunity, their arrogance, the way they feel they are above the law. It is just a sad, horrifying story. Okay? Now, what did this young man do to warrant his disappearance? All he did was to write a novel, a work of fiction, which he then published on Amazon. Anybody can publish a work of literature on Amazon. And many of those books on Amazon today hardly have any sales. Some of them have not sold even a single copy. Of course, some of them are very popular bestsellers, but those are few. Majority of those books, even the people it is most targeted at, have never heard of them. And this book, written by this young man, is a perfect example of this. But it has gotten him into serious trouble. And it is feared that he may no longer be with us in the world of the living. Going by similar cases of the past that have befallen the motherland. Think about that for a minute. A work of fiction. Fiction. Something imagined in his brain. Probably using information in the public domain. By the way, the book was about the murder of Albert Ojwang. I think hapo ndo aliguza dhitima, that name, Albert Ojwang, and what happened to him. His novel is titled, very appropriately in my view, Orders from Above, because that is what the Ojwang case was all about. Although those above have not been brought to account yet. What we have seen in courts of law are junior officers who had little or nothing to do with this case, being taken to court. And we're definitely not shooting in the dark here. There is evidence. He was threatened. He was warned. And I want us to take a look at that because it is more than revealing. Okay? Young Libendi received a few threats on his phone, via text message. Let us take a look at them. Now, the first message, which you can see on your screens right now, let's go through it carefully. Kindly consider removing your recent novel, Orders from Above, from circulation within 72 hours if uninterrupted cardiac function remains a priority to you. Now, I couldn't help noticing a phrase used here, from circulation. Now, in my opinion, only older Kenyans would use that phrase. Older Kenyans who are grown-ups when newspapers were still the main thing in Kenya. Social media had not yet arrived or had not yet made an impact. And so, in my opinion, this is an important clue to help us to roughly estimate the age of this very terrible man. Okay? Now on your screens you can see the second message. Our initial directive regarding the delisting of Orders from Above has been willfully ignored. This disregard has been noted. Consider this reminder an act of mercy from those who rarely extend it. Very chilling message that. That was the second message the young author received on his phone. But in my opinion, it was not as chilling as the very last message he received. Okay, you can see it on your screens right now. You could have lived your life without ever walking this path, boy. That was the last message. And then on August 5th, poof, he vanished into thin air. Now I cannot help but point out that if these people had stayed away from young Libendi's life, left him alone, nobody would have heard of Orders from Above. Very few people would ever have come across this novel, and there would have been no issue. In other words, the people behind this have just made matters worse by doing what they did. Okay, chances are very high that they assumed these text messages would never be made public. Nobody would ever see them. And hardly anybody would connect the dots to link this work of fiction to the disappearance of this young man. That is possible. However, where they sit now, I am sure they see how counterproductive they have been. Hakuna kitu wamefanya, they have just made things worse for themselves. They have drawn unwanted attention to themselves. What is it about this regime and works of fiction? I'm sure most of us remember the play by Butere girls, a school play, drama ya mashule, titled Echoes of War, which caused so much drama. The writer and the director of that play, who happens also to be a politician, Cleophas Malala, was arrested. The young girls were harassed. For what? Really for what? And now, an obscure work of fiction by an up-and-coming writer has gotten a young man into serious trouble. What is the Ruto regime saying to us? Actually, what they're saying to us is, Kenyans, you're not allowed to think. Kenyans, you're not allowed to create works of fiction. If any of your characters has any resemblance to Kasongo, you're in trouble. You're in very serious trouble. And you could easily vanish. And you could easily lose your life for being creative, for using the creative gift Almighty God gave you. You could easily lose your life in Kenya today. Hapo ndio tumefika. It is so sad. I really sympathize with the family of Bwana Libendi. They have been looking everywhere. They've been trying to seek help everywhere. And I have highlighted this case on this channel so that it gets more attention from Kenyans. Because it it goes without saying, this should not be happening in our country. This should never ever happen in our country. It doesn't matter what side of the political divide you belong, but this one, it should never ever happen in our country. Yeah, I will not even go to that place of our 2010 constitution. Let me not go there. Just basic human rights, basic stuff, basic things about how a government, any government, even a communist government, should deal with their citizens. These are very basic things. And this case of Libendi, it is very sad. And I hope that action will be taken, that the young man will be found alive, and that he will be left alone to exercise the creative gift Almighty God gave him. It is hard enough to make it as an author without being disturbed by a government that has run out of ideas. Meanwhile, there is this Rigathi Gachagua drama. Now I've produced a highly sensitive special report giving the details of the identity of the people pushing things behind the scenes. And very important, because nobody has covered this, very important, what their real motive is, what they want, and why they are behaving the way they are. And you'll not believe this, but there is evidence, very clear evidence, from our neighboring countries. Oh yes, now you can see details on your screens right now. For only Kenya shillings 2,999 only, you can get this highly sensitive special report. And please, when you receive it, please do not share it. Please. Okay? You know, you can get some information, and by your assessment, it is nothing. This is not sensitive. By your assessment. But you see, you're assessing all this from a position where there's a lot of information you do not have. Okay? And therefore you're not in a position to make an accurate judgment. So please trust my judgment. This is very highly sensitive information. And please don't forget to text your email address after payment to the same M-Pesa number, or even to send a blank email, for quick service. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.